My name is Kevin Vanover, and this is a new Intune Barbershop video. And today we're going to be covering macOS Lapse Admin. So let me share my screen and we will get underway here. Right. So our agenda for today, we're going to talk about the risks associated with static or shared password. I'll introduce you to Microsoft Lapse OS Lapse Admin with Microsoft Intune. Let me rephrase that. I'll introduce you to macOS Lapse Admin with Microsoft Intune. We'll go over some of the prerequisites. I'll walk you through the workflow, how it all comes together with ABM, Intune. We'll go through an implementation demo where I'll show you how to set the settings for the local admin. And then at the end, we'll talk about the benefits of what we just created. So with that, let's get things kicked off. Ta-da! All right, slide. All right. So what are the risks? Shared or static administrative passwords are definitely going to increase our vulnerability to unauthorized access. Manual password management, it's inefficient, and it's definitely prone to human error. And it also has a severe risk in security lapses. Organizations need to have compliance capabilities or standards, if you will, to enforce and then secure and then to audit the use of those password practices. Automated password management is definitely going to improve our security and make us a lot more efficient with what we're doing. So with that, let's introduce macOS Lapse Administrative Password Solution with Apple Business Manager and Microsoft Intune. Ta-da! Okay, so in July of 2025, Lapse was included in the Intune release 2507. It's going to allow for the creation and management of local admin on macOS. And what are the prerequisites? So you definitely need to have an Intune Plan 1. Your Apple Business Manager subscription needs to be set up and have integration with Intune. This demonstration doesn't really cover that integration setup. I presume that it's already there for you. If not, maybe I'll do a future video for that, but I really just wanted to focus on how to set up Lapse. All right, so those devices are going to have to be synced and such. Devices have to enroll with the Apple Business Manager and Intune enrollment, automatic device enrollment process. If your devices are already deployed, you'll have to reset them and then re-enroll them through ABM and Intune in order to take advantage of this feature. macOS 12 and later is a requirement. All right. One of the things that's good to know, RBAC. RBAC is available to us, which is great because then it allows us to specify which people within our organization have access to this information and which ones can use it and rotate the passwords and such. However, those two permissions that are required to access the passwords and to rotate the passwords don't exist in the pre-built roles in the Intune administrator or help desk, etc. So you'll need to create a custom RBAC role, and then you'll be able to then assign that to your relevant personnel to take advantage of the solution. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and let's look at the workflow for how this comes together. All right, so as I talked about, devices are going to have to be registered with Apple Business Manager. And then once they are, they're going to be synced to Intune. And that's where we will have our enrollment profiles waiting for those devices. Config profiles, compliance policies, password policies, all of that can be pushed at that point in time from Intune during enrollment. However, the part that we're concerned with is creating the local admin and the primary user on the macOS devices. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into a quick demo and show you how this is all put together. Give me just a sec to pull this up. All right. So all right, we'll go into devices. We'll start from the top here. We're in the Intune interface. All right, from here, I'll go into macOS, and then I'm going to go into enrollment. And then we'll find our enrollment profiles in the enrollment program tokens. This is all the part of setting up Apple Business Manager integration. We'll have covered those components. I, in the interest of time, pre-created a profile for us to review for the Lapse piece. All right, so in the enrollment profile, we're going to go down to account settings here, and I have to look over to my other screen for just a sec so I can click on the links. All right, and what you'll see here is that I've got it already selected. Hey, we're going to go ahead and create a local admin account on the device. For the admin account username, you can type in, a static name that you want to use. If you wanted to make that unique, you can just put in the serial number, or in case what I'll demonstrate for you here is I can do the piece that I made static for me, and then I can just do like a hyphen and then put in that supported variable for the serial number. So in this case, not only would the password be unique to each device, so would the username, because it would give us that lapse admin, which is the prefix of the username, but then it's hyphen and then the specific device's serial number. So that would make it a little bit more secure if you're after that. So just be aware of that. The other thing that I wanted to point out is you can't, for example, have the same primary account name and or full username, if you will. The username and the account name, they can't be the same for the local admin and the standard user, or the local user that you would create on the device. You can see it errored out there because it's saying, hey, it's going to be the same account. So we don't want to do that. You just want to make sure that it's different. So take that into account when you're creating these. All right, with that being said, we'll move on here. All right, so the other thing that's important is hiding this account from your local user groups and users and groups. So what that means is that once I've got this created, I want to change this to yes. Otherwise, if you don't, it will show up in the logon screen when the Mac is turned on. You'll see that there's the primary account for the local user, but then you'll also see that there is an admin account that's been created for Labs. So I want to hide that from my end users. I don't want them to see what that is. So I want to change that to yes. Creating the local account, whatever works for your organization and what those standards are that you want to do, you should be able to fill in the blanks there. The account type, whether it's standard or primary or administrative, that's really up to you. And what you want them to be able to do on the endpoints, if you really want to lock it down, et cetera. But the only other part here that I wanted to address was restricting editing. So if you didn't want the end users to be able to change their local account, naming conventions, anything like that, then you would restrict the editing of that so they can't do it. Once you've got those things set, you're pretty much ready to rock and roll. You'll go ahead and you'll power on your macOS device. It'll see that it's an ABM device once it connects to the internet, and then it will see that its MDM server is Intune, and that's where we have this enrollment profile ready and waiting for it. So it will follow the guidance that we've given here for the setup assistant, for whether or not user affinity and such, and then the account settings, which is going to govern the lapse component that we just talked about. All right. So with that being said, let me see. Yeah, some of the other things I want to show you. Oh, let's talk about how we can get that password once it's created on the device. So you'll go into Intune, you'll find the device. Oops, wrong. You'll go into Devices. Excuse me while I catch up to myself. macOS, and then we're going to go into our macOS devices. There's my MacBook Pro that I've got already deployed with Lapse Admin. And what you'll see is I have a passwords and keys blade now in the device overview. And then here, if I click on that, you'll see that I can say, hey, show me the local admin password. And voila, there it is. So I can copy that, and then whatever method I'm using to access the device, remote management, whatever, then I put in the appropriate username. We know what it is. We just configured it in the profile. And then I use this password, and I'm able to gain access at the local admin level. And that is that. Now, let's see, well, I think we'll come to it here in a later slide. Yeah, so what have we done? We've now got in a scenario where we have a unique password for each of our devices. We've automated this with the deployment profile so that we don't have these manual processes to complete. So that takes some load off of our staff. And now we have the ability to audit when those passwords are used and when they are rotated. So let's cover that in this next slide here. So we're going to be able to store those passwords in Entra. I showed you how and where to find that. We're going to have access to those passwords with our controlled roles through RBAC. So only users that you specify that can have access to that are going to have access to that. And now we have the ability to audit when they access those passwords and when they rotate them. So in this slide here, let me zoom in. Oops, go back. I think I clicked the wrong button. Oops. did it again. All right, perfect. All right, so we're back on the right slide. I'm going to zoom in here and see if I can put this in play. Okay, so if we go into tenant administration and then we go to our audit logs, all right, what you'll see there is you want to filter it out by a category, so you can do enrollment and or device. The activity that we're looking for is one of these two: get admin account DTO. So what that is the IT person accessing the local admin password Intune. It's going to log that, and it's going to show you the date and time stamp and the user that did it. And then the other one is when I rotated the local admin password under the device category, I'll see the date and time stamp and who did that as well. So those are the things that we have for auditing compliance capabilities. So at the end of the day, we've got, like I said, an automated solution to configure our passwords, to reset the passwords, i.e. rotate them, and we have that logging capability. And so a lot of the concerns we have with static or shared passwords is gone. All right. So what have we done? We've leveraged the macOS local admin password solution with Apple Business Manager and Microsoft Intune to enhance our security and definitely simplify device management. So look, if you like these videos, make sure you like and subscribe. I love doing them for you. Thank you so much and have a great day. Again, my name is Kevin Vanover with Patriot Consulting, and you just watched a video on Microsoft macOS Lapse Admin with Microsoft Intune. All right, have a great day. Take care.